The transfer portal has had a massive impact on college basketball over the past couple of years, and as we look ahead to next season, I wanted to rank the top 30 transfer players in all of college basketball. And like my other videos, these rankings will be based on how I think each of these players will perform next season. But before we begin, if you enjoy the content, please consider dropping a like on the video and subscribing to the channel, as it helps us grow and is greatly appreciated. And now, let's jump into it. So I have some honorable mentions that you could argue should be in the top 30 but just missed out, and they are Lawan Watts from Texas Tech, Keyshawn Murphy from Auburn, Oscar Clough from Purdue, Pop Isaacs from Texas A&M, and Tyon Grant Foster from Gonzaga. But coming in at number 30 is Isaac McKneeley from Louisville, and the Virginia transfer brings one of the deadliest shooting strokes in all of college basketball to the Cardinals next season. And at 6'4", McKneeley has been a marksman his entire career, knocking down over 42% of his threes on high volume, including over 100 threes last season alone. And what makes him so dangerous is his ability to fly off screens and get his shot off quickly, much like the role Rain Smith thrived in under Coach Kelsey last year. McKneeley isn't the most explosive athlete, but he's smart, skilled, and efficient, averaging 3 assists to just 1.5 turnovers, and defensively, he's disciplined thanks to his time in Tony Bennett's system at Virginia, and pairing him with freshman Mikel Brown Jr. creates one of the most dynamic shooting backcourts in all of the country, and if McKneeley continues shooting at this clip, Louisville's offense could be flat out unstoppable next season. Coming in at number 29 is Keyshawn Hall, and Auburn gets a major scoring punch with Hall as the UCF transfer just led the Big 12 in scoring by averaging 18.8 points per game. And at 6'7" and 235 pounds, Hall is a matchup nightmare as he's too quick for bigs and too strong for guards. He thrives driving downhill, but he's far from just a slasher as he shot 35% from 3, routinely hits mid-range pull-ups, and has the handle to create off the bounce for himself as well. Last season, his efficiency did dip at times with his high usage, but sliding into Auburn's system should balance that out and let him pick his spots more effectively. And add in 7 boards a night and defensive versatility across multiple positions, and Hall looks like Bruce Pearl's ultimate X factor, and I expect him to be one of the SEC's most difficult covers next season. Coming in at number 28 is Michael Rataj as Baylor adds a huge piece in the Oregon State transfer. The 6'9" forward broke out in a massive way last season as he averaged 17 points and 7 rebounds while flashing the rare ability to dribble, pass, and shoot at his size. He torched Gonzaga for nearly 30 points earlier in the season and has proved he can score from just about anywhere on the floor, whether it's knocking down threes at 35%, using crafty footwork inside, or creating his own shot off the bounce. And what makes him even more intriguing is his defensive activity, posting strong steal and block rates while competing on the glass. Baylor lost Norchad Omier, but Rataj is the kind of modern forward who can step right in, stretch the floor, and carry some of the scoring load when needed. And with his versatility on both ends of the floor, don't be surprised if Rataj emerges as Baylor's go-to option in crunch time this season. Coming in at number 27 is Adrian Wooley as Louisville lands one of the biggest breakout stars from last season in the Conference USA Freshman of the Year. Wooley lit it up for Kennesaw State, averaging nearly 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists while shooting an eye-popping 42% from deep. The lefty is a nightmare to defend. He can pull up off the dribble, knock down catch and shoot threes, or use his crafty footwork to finish through traffic at the rim. He even showed some sneaky bounce and thrived in transition, making plays both for himself and his teammates. And he can turn the ball over a bit with such a heavy workload, but that came with being the focal point as a freshman at Kennesaw State. And now stepping into a Louisville backcourt that lost some of its top scorers, Wooley has a golden opportunity to shine in the ACC, and expect him to make highlight plays and quickly become a fan favorite for the Cardinals. Coming in at number 26 is Josh Dix as Creighton adds one of the nation's most deadly long-range threats. The 6'6" sharpshooter is coming off a 42% three-point season at Iowa, and Dix doesn't just knock down open threes, he makes contested shots, pulls up off the dribble, and uses his size to score over smaller defenders with a 67% finishing rate at the rim. In over 3 years, he's consistently hovered above 40% from deep, showing he's as reliable as they come from outside. But beyond his shooting, Dix can handle the ball, create for his teammates, and step into a leadership role for the Blue Jays backcourt. And while Creighton lost some key pieces from last year's team, Dix's ability to stretch the floor and attack in transition gives them a new offensive dynamo to lean on. And I expect him to score in double figures most nights and emerge as one of the Big East's premier perimeter threats. Coming in at number 25 is Malik Thomas, as Virginia adds one of the nation's most dynamic scoring threats out of San Francisco. And the 6'5" combo guard led the West Coast Conference in scoring at 20 points per game last season. Thomas can fill it up from just about anywhere, pulling up for mid-range fadeaways, firing threes off screens, or attacking the rim with his explosive drives. He's a 3-level scorer with size and versatility, capable of sliding to the wing and creating his own shot in a way Virginia hasn't seen in recent years. Thomas averaged nearly 40% from 3 over the past 2 seasons, showing he can stretch defenses and create space for his teammates as well. And paired with Jakari White, expect Virginia to run a much faster, high-octane backcourt this season, turning transition opportunities into points in bunches at times. And with Thomas as the team's top offensive weapon, he's poised to make an immediate impact in the ACC and be a go-to scorer night in and night out. Coming in at number 24 is Silas Demary Jr., who helped UConn strengthen its backcourt, which struggled last season. The 6'5" Georgia transfer can score from all 3 levels and brings a real energy on both ends of the floor. And Demary averaged 13.5 points and 4 rebounds per game last season, but he closed the year off on fire, putting up over 19 points per game in the final 10 contests and helping the Bulldogs secure an NCAA tournament bid. He's a sturdy, physical lead guard who can create off the bounce, attack the rim, draw fouls, and knock down threes at a 37% clip. Defensively, he's a nightmare at the point of attack with quick hands, solid steals, and the versatility to switch across multiple positions if needed. And with his size, athleticism, and 3-level scoring ability, Demary has the tools to step into UConn's lineup alongside Solo Ball and Braylon Mullins and immediately become a go-to playmaker in both transition and late clock situations. Coming in at number 23 is Rodney Rice, and USC is adding some much-needed scoring versatility with Rice, as the 6'4" shooting guard put together a breakout season at Maryland last year. Rice averaged 14 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists while knocking down 37% of his threes and showed off a polished mid-range game at around 51% on 2-point dribble jumpers. He's a 3-level scorer who can create off the bounce, hit pull-ups, and run hard in transition to convert easy buckets. And while he's more comfortable off the ball, Rice did improve his on-ball game throughout the season. Defensively, he's reliable, athletic, and knows how to navigate pick and rolls on the defensive side of things. And with USC losing depth in its backcourt to the transfer portal, Rice joins a stacked Trojans roster and will provide instant scoring and spacing alongside fellow transfers like Chad Baker-Mazara, and expect him to be a go-to option for the Trojans and a major threat from deep all season long. Coming in at number 22 is Morez Johnson Jr., as Michigan adds a true force in the paint with the Illinois transfer. The 6'9", 255-pound big man dominated the glass as a freshman and averaged 7 points, nearly 7 rebounds, and over a block per game, while posting an eye-popping 64% shooting from the field, with nearly all of his attempts being at the rim. He's a relentless offensive rebounder, crashing the boards with a 17% offensive rebounding rate, and his motor and physicality make him a nightmare for opponents on both ends. And while not a traditional post-up scorer, Johnson thrives rolling to the basket, finishing in traffic, and creating second chance points for himself and his teammates. Defensively, he's a rim protector in the making, with the size and strength to contest shots and control the paint. And with a bigger role expected next season at Michigan, Johnson could quickly become one of the nation's top rebounders and a game-changing presence for the Wolverines inside and out. Coming in at number 21 is Wesley Yates III, as Washington welcomes back Yates after the 6'4" combo guard exploded onto the scene at USC last season. Yates averaged 14 points per game while shooting nearly 44% from 3 and over 80% from the free throw line, proving he can score at all 3 levels. He's a versatile offensive weapon, capable of knocking down open threes, making tough shots off the dribble, and attacking the rim with strength and power through contact. And while not a pass-first guard, Yates can facilitate off pin downs and ball screens, adding a secondary playmaking element to his game. Defensively, his size and strength allow him to guard multiple positions, and he brings a high motor and physicality to the floor. And returning to Washington, Yates instantly becomes a primary scoring option alongside the Huskies' core, and with his shooting and ability to create in traffic, he's poised to make an immediate impact and consistently deliver highlight-worthy buckets for the program next season. And coming in at number 20 is Jason Edwards, as Providence adds a pure scoring weapon to its backcourt with the 6'1" combo guard. Edwards is coming off a 17-point-per-game season at Vanderbilt, and his game is all about buckets. He can light it up from deep, hit tough pull-ups, and find creative ways to finish at the rim even against big shot-blocking defenses. He's not a primary playmaker or an elite defender, but that's not his job, as his job is to purely score, and he does it in bunches. With third-team All-SEC honors last year and previous stop at North Texas, Edwards brings proven scoring and veteran experience to a Providence backcourt that needed some instant offense. And paired with talented guards like Sellers, he gives the Friars a dangerous combo capable of keeping defenses on their heels, and I expect Edwards to be one of the Big East top scoring threats next season. Coming in at number 19 is Jaland Lowe, as Kentucky lands a dynamic playmaker in the lefty guard who terrorized defenses at Pitt with his slashing drives and creative playmaking. Lowe averaged heavy usage with Pitt, creating advantages on nearly every possession and ranking among the nation's top scorers in ball screen situations. And while his jumper was inconsistent, he still shot over 35% on catch and shoot threes as a freshman, showing he can space the floor when paired with the right teammates. And at Kentucky, under Mark Pope, Lowe's efficiency is expected to soar. He's already been the star of summer practice, as reports have mentioned, and flashed elite vision, lightning quick first steps, and the ability to make defenders pay in transition or off screens. He's the perfect get out of jail free card in late clock scenarios, capable of generating offense anywhere on the floor, and if Jaland Lowe hits his ceiling, he can emerge as one of the SEC's most explosive high IQ cards next season. Coming in at number 18 is Andrej Stojakovic, and Illinois lands a dynamic scoring wing in Stojakovic, as the 6'7" former McDonald's All-American averaged 18 points and 5 rebounds per game at Cal last season. Stojakovic can attack the rim, hit pull-up jumpers, and stretch defenses with his perimeter game, making him a threat at all three levels. And while his raw three-point numbers at 32% definitely leave room for improvement, moving to a talent-laden Illinois roster should boost his efficiency and open up even more scoring opportunities. And he's not expected to carry the offense alone, but paired with one of the best shooting front courts in college basketball, Stojakovic can easily drop 15+ points a night in my opinion, while also keeping defenses on their heels. And with 2 years of eligibility remaining, he gives the Illini a versatile, high upside wing capable of turning heads in the Big Ten and helping lead Illinois back to the NCAA tournament. Coming in at number 17 is Owen Freeman, who is heading to Creighton next season, which is a massive pickup for the Blue Jays. The 6'10" Iowa transfer was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year 2 years ago, and last season he put up 16.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, and nearly 1.5 blocks per game before an injury cut things short. Freeman is a force around the rim, shooting nearly 64% from the field and over 70% at the basket, carving out space like a true low-post bully. He's not just a back-to-the-basket scorer either. He's flashed some touch from deep and has the athleticism to thrive in Greg McDermott's high-powered offense. And with his size, hands, and the finishing ability that he brings, it wouldn't shock me if Freeman pushed close to 20 points a night in this system. And he may not be the same defensive anchor as Ryan Kalkbrenner, but Freeman's ceiling as Creighton is extremely high. Coming in at number 16 is Bryce Hopkins, and Hopkins is a powerhouse forward who brings toughness and a big-time mismatch factor to St. John's this season. And at 6'7" with a long wingspan, Hopkins thrives as a downhill driver, bulldozing through contact while still showing slick body control at the rim. He's a double-double machine who crashes the glass hard, often following his own misses, and he's also as sneaky as a passer when defenses collapse. Hopkins has had some tough luck with injuries the past couple of seasons, but when he's healthy, he's a nightmare to defend. He's too quick for bigs and too strong for wings, and his swing factor though will be his jumper. He once hit 36% from 3 at Providence, but dipped to under 20% last season. But if he finds that stroke again, Hopkins is an all Big East caliber weapon who can completely change the Red Storm's ceiling, and simply put, Hopkins being healthy means St. John's is scary next season. And coming in at number 15 is Henry Vassar from North Carolina, and the 7-footer from Estonia is exactly what the Tar Heels needed in the front court, which is size, energy, and defensive versatility. Last season at Arizona, opponents shot just 51% at the rim when Vassar was on the floor, and the Wildcats' defense was much better when he was anchoring the paint, which is the kind of defensive impact that North Carolina has needed in its front court. Offensively, Vassar runs the floor well, punishes defenses as a roller, and knocks down threes consistently. He's got soft hands, polished footwork, and enough passing skills to keep UNC's offense moving. And on top of that, his relentless motor on the glass instantly upgrades the Heels' rebounding, and Vassar won't be just filling a hole that was left in the front court, but he's bringing a modern two-way skill set that can make him one of the most important bigs in the ACC. And coming in at number 14 is Chad Baker-Mazara, who transferred to USC, and Baker-Mazara is one of the most polarizing players in the country and also one of the most experienced. And at 25 years old, the 6'7" wing has been just about everywhere, with stops at Duquesne, San Diego State, JUCO, and Auburn last season, and now he's suiting up in the Big Ten. And say what you want about his antics, the production is undeniable as he averaged 12.5 points, 3 rebounds, and 2.5 assists last year while shooting 38% from 3 and defending with relentless energy. Baker-Mazara is a catch-and-shoot killer, ranking in the 91st percentile and knocking down 50% of his unguarded looks, while also being crafty enough to create off the dribble or attack the rim in transition. His versatility shows up on both ends, capable of switching across positions and making fiery plays, and being a true spark for any team. And if Eric Musselman unlocks him fully, Baker-Mazara could be USC's game changer in the Big Ten race. Coming in at number 13 is Ian Jackson at St. John's, and the Bronx native is back home with a golden opportunity to shine under Rick Pitino. The former 5-star flashed serious star power as a freshman at UNC, averaging 12 points per game while shooting nearly 40% from 3, including a 7-game stretch where he was flat out unstoppable, dropping 23 points a night on blistering efficiency. Jackson is an explosive scorer with elite transition speed, a smooth pull-up jumper, and the athleticism to finish through contact, but he still has to tighten his decision-making and become more of a facilitator, and Pitino is handing him the keys to run point for the Red Storm team with Final Four aspirations this next season, and if Jackson can balance his scoring with his playmaking, he could be a breakout star of the Big East, and St. John's is betting big on him this year, and the upside is massive. Coming in at number 12 is Xaivian Lee, who transferred to Florida, and Lee is a dynamic 6'4" lead guard ready to make waves in the SEC. The Toronto native transformed from a role player on Princeton's 2023 Sweet 16 squad into a 2-time All-Ivy League star, and now joins the Gators to share ball handling duties with Boogie Fland. Lee's game thrives off the dribble, his step-back jumpers are automatic, he attacks closeouts with smooth acceleration, and he can create space for his own floaters, lobs, or quick kickouts to his teammates. Last season, he averaged 17 points per game, highlighted by a 33-point effort against Dartmouth, including a buzzer beater. Lee is also aggressive on the glass, unafraid to mix it up despite being listed at only 180 pounds. And while questions linger about his size against this SEC competition he'll be playing, his pace, shot making, and vision make him a natural fit in Florida's system and a potential catalyst for another national title run for the Gators. Coming in at number 11 is Rob Wright from BYU, and Wright is the marquee transfer the Cougars landed this offseason and a true floor general ready to run the show. The 6'1" point guard comes off a stellar freshman season at Baylor, where he averaged 11.5 points, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds while earning Big 12 All-Freshman honors. And Wright is the type of point guard who stabilizes a team, reads pick and rolls with advanced vision, and can create off the dribble or distribute with poise. He also knocked down 44% of his unguarded catch-and-shoot threes, which adds a scoring punch to his playmaking. And Wright combines his shifty handles, his crafty finishing, and a high basketball IQ to be one of the best point guards in all of the country. And he's no stranger playing with high-level talent and on the big stage, as he played alongside Cooper Flagg and others at Montverde his senior year. and at BYU next season, he'll be the engine for a talented roster tasked with maximizing the offense alongside AJ DeBanza and Richie Saunders while taking the point guard role to new heights in Provo. And coming in at number 10 is Ryan Conwell, who transferred to Louisville and is a sharp shooting dynamo who instantly upgrades the Cardinals' backcourt. The 6'4", 215-pound wing is heading to his 4th school in 4 years, but his production has never wavered, as Conwell posted 16.5 points per game at Xavier last season on 45, 41, and 85% shooting splits, and had a nearly identical 16.5 points the year before that at Indiana State. 2/3 of his shots come from deep, and he's a movement shooter with a lightning quick release, deadly off the catch or the dribble, and a knack for attacking long closeouts. Conwell can also finish through contact, draw fouls, or run secondary ball handling duties with poise. He's also physically strong, competitive on both ends, and armed with a silky smooth jumper and spaces the floor like few others can in college basketball. And at Louisville, Conwell could lead the nation in threes while giving the Cardinals one of the most dangerous backcourts in the ACC. Coming in at number 9 is Tucker DeVries, who transferred to Indiana as his father, Darian DeVries, got the head coaching job there, and he's a 6'7" wing who brings elite shooting and high basketball IQ to the Hoosiers. DeVries is a 2-time Missouri Valley Player of the Year at Drake and averaged 21.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists per game in his junior season, and proved himself as a movement shooter who can knock down threes off screens at an elite level, as he shot 47% from deep in 8 games last year at West Virginia before a shoulder injury sidelined him. DeVries is comfortable scoring from the mid-range and the post as well, and while he's not the fastest athlete, his passing, court awareness, and defensive positioning elevate every lineup he's in. And now, Tucker DeVries enters the Big Ten ready to step into a major role, stretch defenses with his shot, and provide Indiana with a versatile scoring threat capable of impacting the game in multiple ways. Coming in at number 8 is Jacoby Gillespie from Tennessee, and Gillespie is a dynamic 6-foot lead guard who immediately upgrades the Volunteers' backcourt. After 2 solid seasons at Belmont, Gillespie exploded at Maryland last year, averaging nearly 15 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals per game while shooting 45% from the field and 41% from 3. He's a complete offensive weapon, deadly off the catch, lights out off the dribble, and a master at creating separation with step backs or crafty drives. Gillespie can score at all 3 levels, set up his teammates, and manage tempo, making him a natural fit to run Tennessee's offense after Zakai Siegler left. Defensively, he's competitive, intelligent, and active at the point of attack, and now returning home to Tennessee, Gillespie inherits the starting point guard role and brings deep experience, elite shot making, and a knack for balanced scoring with distribution, giving the Volunteers a proven floor general ready to make an immediate impact. Coming in at number 7 is Boogie Fland, who decided to transfer to Florida in the offseason, and Fland is a 6'3" dynamic guard who is ready to take the Gators' backcourt to another level alongside Xaivian Lee. The former 5-star prospect impressed in limited action at Arkansas last season, averaging 13.5 points and 5 assists per game while shooting 37% from 3 before a thumb injury ended his campaign. Fland is a versatile scorer and facilitator who can run the offense, attack off the dribble, and drain pull-up jumpers with ease, fitting perfectly into Florida's motion-heavy system. He also plays with defensive intensity, showing the ability to guard multiple positions and create turnovers on that end of the floor. And now paired with Xaivian Lee, Fland gives the Gators one of the most potent backcourt duos in the SEC, combining elite shot-making, playmaking, and two-way impact. And if he stays healthy, Fland could be one of the reasons Florida has a chance to make it back to a national title and help balance scoring with distributing while providing a steady, high IQ presence on both ends of the floor. Coming in at number 6 is Darion Williams, who transferred to NC State and is a do-it-all point forward ready to take over the ACC. At 6'6" with a strong frame and elite feel, Williams is the type of player coaches dream about. He can post up, initiate offense and ball screens, or create mismatches with inverted pick and rolls. Last season at Texas Tech, he averaged 15 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists while leading the Red Raiders to an Elite 8 run, showcasing his ability to take over big games with 28 points against Drake in the NCAA tournament. His mid-post game and playmaking IQ make him the centerpiece of Will Wade's new system at NC State, where he'll operate as both a scorer and a facilitator, and if he regains the three-point stroke that once had him at 46% from deep, he could be nearly unguardable next season. And Williams is wired to win, and now he's the go-to star on a team hungry to return to national relevance. Coming in at number 5 is Donovan Dent from UCLA, and Dent is the definition of a game changer. The Mountain West Player of the Year lit it up at New Mexico last season, averaging 20.5 points, 6.5 assists, and 1.5 steals while shooting an efficient 49% from the field and 41% from three. And no player in the country scored more points in transition, as Dent is a one-man fast break with blazing north-to-south speed and the ability to collapse a defense on command. He finishes 55% at the rim despite being just 6'2", and his playmaking and ball screens makes him a deadly as both a scorer and a facilitator. And now back home in Southern California, Dent fills UCLA's biggest need, a dynamic lead guard who can spark an offense that struggled last season at times. And with his burst, improved shooting, and fearless approach, Dent instantly raises the Bruins' ceiling and gives Mick Cronin one of the most electrifying point guards in the nation. Coming in at number 4 is Jayden Quaintance, who decided to enter the transfer portal and transfer to Kentucky this offseason, and he is one of the most unique young big men in the country. At just 17 years old during his freshman season at Arizona State, Quaintance quickly established himself as a dominant defensive force. At 6'9" with a 7'3" wingspan, he averaged 2.5 blocks and over a steal per game, ranking top 10 nationally in block rate and racking up nearly 4 stocks a night. His timing, length, and freedom to roam made him a nightmare for opponents, while his 9.5 points and 8 rebounds showed his double-double potential. And now in Lexington next season, the former Calipari commit brings elite rim protection, relentless energy, and intriguing offensive upside as a lob threat with flashes of a shooting touch. But coming off of an ACL injury, all signs point to a strong recovery, and if he takes another step offensively, Quaintance could emerge as one of college basketball's most dominant players and a future NBA lottery pick. Coming in at number 3, we have PJ Haggerty from Kansas State, and Haggerty is one of the most prolific scorers in all of college basketball. After averaging over 21 points per game in back-to-back seasons at Tulsa and Memphis, Haggerty now brings his elite offensive game to the Big 12. The 6'3" guard thrives in transition, relentlessly attacking the rim and living at the free throw line, but he's also grown into a more complete threat with his perimeter shooting. Last year, he hit 36% from 3 on solid volume, including 42% on open catch-and-shoot looks, showcasing noticeable development in an area that once held him back. And add in nearly 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals a game, and Haggerty's impact goes well beyond just scoring. And with Kansas State expected to put the ball in his hands early and often, he's a clear favorite to lead the Big 12 in scoring while raising the Wildcats' ceiling into true contender status in the conference. Coming in at number 2 is Bennett Stirtz out of Iowa, and Stirtz is a former Division II standout who has rocketed into national stardom and now lands in the Big Ten as the Hawkeyes' new go-to star. At 6'4", Stirtz is a highly skilled lead guard who thrives in ball screens, shooting 70% at the rim last year while averaging 19 points, 5.5 assists, 4.5 rebounds, and 2 steals on an efficient 50-40-80 split. He was the Missouri Valley Player of the Year at Drake and carried them to another NCAA tournament, proving himself on the biggest stage with back-to-back 21-point outings. And Stirtz isn't just a scorer, he's an elite decision maker with a terrific assist-to-turnover ratio, plus has the versatility to play on or off the ball. And while defense isn't necessarily his calling card, his offensive skill set is electric. In an Iowa system with Ben McCollum, he's primed to lead the Big Ten in scoring and emerge as a first-round NBA talent. And coming in at number 1, it's Yaxel Lendeborg, who transferred to Michigan in the offseason, and Lendeborg is a do-it-all forward who might be the most complete player in college basketball heading into next season. At 6'9" with a 7'3" wingspan, Lendeborg stuffed the stat sheet at UAB last season, averaging nearly 18 points, 11.5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, and nearly 2 steals per game, and he's a true Swiss Army knife who impacts every possession. His jaw-dropping 30-point, 20-rebound, 8 assists, 5 steal, and 4 block masterpiece in the AAC tournament proved exactly why NBA scouts love him. Lendeborg thrives in transition, snatching boards and igniting fast breaks, but he's also just as dangerous in the half court, where he can facilitate from the high post, attack off the dribble, or stretch the floor with a much improved 3-ball. And now he'll be teaming up with Ade Mara and Morez Johnson under Dusty May, and Lendeborg gives Michigan unmatched versatility in the front court and gives the Wolverines a legitimate shot at another Big Ten title. And with that, let me know in the comments what you think of my rankings of the top transfer players for the upcoming college basketball season. Also, make sure to check out some of my other college basketball rankings videos, as we've ranked the top players at every position and the best freshmen heading into next season. And as always, if you enjoyed the content, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.